Hello and welcome back to Behind Jim C. For episode 27, I already did like two takes before this. Good thing I wasn't like an hour in. And I was saying 29. 29 is a whole different topic. A couple things before we get started with iMovie. Yeah, we're doing a whole topic about, or a whole episode about iMovie and how we kind of use it, how we kind of do one. I don't know why I'm saying we. I should say I, because I'm the one who runs the show. A couple things. One, we do have an altered schedule this week. We're running on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule this current week. So 27, 28, and 29 are all going to come out a little bit sooner than expected, just because there's a lot going on in life right now. For me personally, for a lot of people in the school district, there's been stuff that's been spreading around, like news and everything, and the district has not commented on it. And I think no matter what is said between the student or the school, there's not going to be any unbiased information, anything that's true. And because of that, there's no good way to report on it. And with some of the personal things that it's just a lot for me right now. And so I'm just going to take a step back. I can still do this. I feel fine enough to do this. It's just talking regularly, whereas like, okay, we're talking about this very sensitive topic, we don't know what's going to come back on us. I'm gonna play it safe and then just do this, because I mean, hey, what's there to lose by doing this? So like I said, I did two other takes before this. Also, we did say that Blanket Talks 3 was gonna be soon. We were wrong. We were kind of holding off to see if people were gonna join, because like, hey, it's the revival, you guys want to, like, yeah, nobody kind of did that, unfortunately. So, yeah. And then we changed the category of the podcast, which, we'll talk about in episode 29. Don't know how it's gonna how it's gonna work out. I will talk a little bit more about that. Basically, we changed it for education for kids, which basically is like news stuff for the district. I feel so congested like right now. There's like a lot of you know what? I'm not gonna gross people out. I'm just gonna keep that to myself. But yeah, I feel like very phlegmy. Yeah, so we changed it from education for kids, which, essentially is what our whole main show is about, but this is different, to leisure. So this is a little bit more like loose. I didn't know what I don't like categories. I don't like saying, hey, I have a podcast about, whatever. I don't like categories. I just say, hey, I do something where, this is just kind of where I talk, and then people listen for some odd reason, because I guess they think it's entertaining, I guess. I'm going to stop saying that right now, because this is precious content for 28, for Blanket Talks 3, and then the category episode. But for right now, we're talking about iMovie. Yes, Apple's video editing software. Just being technical out there. I don't know why I'm being so technical. So if you don't know, and I'd be a little surprised if you don't know, but I mean, hey, there's always people who don't know. iMovie is this program you can get on your Apple device. It's like an Apple exclusive. You get it on your device, and you can edit videos and everything. And you can post them right to, I don't know, what was there, like Venmo and YouTube, but usually I just export them and then upload them, because that's what's easier for me, versus like, oh, we're gonna upload it to what, 144p, whatever. Since that, big joke about that right now. So I trusted on myself to do the whole, like, hey, we're running at 60 FPS. We have that 2080, or no, not 2080. It's 1080p and 60 FPS. So super smooth stuff. I'm actually kind of glad I have the super smooth stuff, because I really do love it. But we do use iMovie. It's free. I mean, we can't pass up that opportunity. We don't use it a lot because the whole main show and this is even built off of, like, okay, we're doing this like it's a live stream, because essentially Good Morning Central York was a live stream, a live thing that you do every day. And going into the school year is like, I cannot do this. I cannot get up at like the break of dawn and do this episode for everyone who at that point it wasn't a lot of people. It still isn't a lot of people. I honestly don't care. I mean, choose whatever you want to do, but it's not worth the effort for me to um do this every day where I can record a video with better light, better everything. Like, I do this at the night for a reason, because sometimes I'm tired and sometimes I just spit out random things. And this week you might see a lot different things. So I might not be as tired, but I'm still like as loose as ever and as talkative as ever. Don't know how talkative, but hopefully I'll be talkative enough to keep everyone hearing it, paying attention, maybe for a little bit. I don't know. We might lose a lot of people in Blanket Talks 3. Yeah, I can feel it. I think we will definitely lose a lot of people. So iMovie is just this thing that we don't use a lot, but we use it because sometimes something happens and we need to do it. So if you follow our Instagram, you will hear you'll see us edit stuff and then put it up. Like when we were updating about the snow, because it like snowed the next day, I was like, okay, like doing this. I actually filmed that with my phone, which is like an S7 Edge. So to all the people who like want the best camera quality and stuff, I filmed a decent quality with my phone. I mean, my computer camera is not the best. I'm sorry, video version people. I'm doing this at 60 FPS though. I'm giving you super smooth stuff. You can't yell at me there. Bad mic, bad camera. Sorry for that. And but I do try to turn off the volume. Before this episode, I even like silenced my phone because somebody just texted me. Because of my phone, I get those like edge alerts. I love them. I honestly love it because it doesn't turn on your phone at like sometimes I forget to turn down my brightness when I go to bed, and that edge will just kind of like, it's not super bright, so it's a decent phone. But yeah, you don't need the best camera. I'd like to have a better camera. I'd like to have cameras that shoot 8K, 12K. I mean, there are people who do 12K footage that just, getting uploaded to YouTube, they just don't get the 12K marker because they can't stream at 12K yet. Maybe that'll be updated later, but for right now, audio version, let people, you don't get that screeching noise in your ear. Trying to still figure out the whole thing with the camera. I've been looking at getting a either a GoPro or like there's a Logitech one with Windows Hello, which God, I keep like Blanket Talks 3 is still in my head and like I'm still doing this. Anyway, we just do light stuff with iMovie. Yeah, I can do a lot harder stuff with iMovie, but when you have a MacBook that has a 2-core processor, which my Windows laptop is double that, and the fan's running on it right now, just recording stuff. So I probably gotta go to an 8-core, 16-core. I think 16 core is actually a Threadripper. But anyway, enough of my babbling to people who don't understand. So you run iMovie, you don't get hot air blowing out of the MacBook. Totally fine, because you're editing, you're like, oh, okay, this is super easy. When it comes to the point where you have to export that film, that's when the problem happens, because it depends what resolution you put it into. Most of the time I'll put it into high because I'm like, hey, it's only 3 gigs, why not? Yeah, that gets a little toasty. And recently I didn't check because I don't usually use it. They have it for the iPad, they have it for the iPhone, which I don't have an iPhone, so I don't know how that is. They have it for the MacBook or iMovie. If sorry if I didn't provide any context for anyone. So yeah. I'm trying to like reconvene my thoughts here. So you don't notice a lot of changes on the MacBook version because it's all relatively the same. I mean, you can see when they changed it to accommodate for Big Sur. But that's about it that I noticed. Um, and I never did it on my iPad. I have the iPhone version of Instagram on my iPad. So for when I post stuff to Instagram for the podcast, the show, whatever, I will basically do iMovie through it, and I was like, hey, look, I have iMovie on here. Why not just do it? It would make it a lot less painful because I was doing it on the MacBook, then transferring it over. And the problem with that is I'd record stuff in 1080p. I'm not sure about at like 60 FPS. It wouldn't read 60 FPS for some time. Could be something in my phone. Like my phone records at 720p. Looks awesome. I don't know why. Maybe just because I'm not used to looking at like 4K screens all the time. Like I have a projector or like a projector style monitor in front of me where like you first turn it on and like it'll have to like warm up faster than a projector, but definitely still the projector screen style. And I doubt that that's like 1080p. I think it's 720, but I don't know. Um, so yeah, it would usually lose quality, and that was a big concern to me. Where on the older versions of iMovie for the iPad, there's a lot of eyes. Why does Apple have so many eyes? Apple, if you're listening to this, please answer me. Please let me know. I'd like to know, or maybe there's a YouTube video out there that I just haven't seen. I'll probably have to look some other time. Um, and so that version, you could basically set it to whatever you want. If you didn't want HD, if you wanted SD or like standard definition, you could do that at 1080p. If you wanted well, I'm not sure about 1080p, but if you wanted HD, you could go balls to the walls. The best thing you could do, and it done in about 10 minutes. On my MacBook, it varies from what you want to do. Some other thing we edited, I can't remember quite what it was. I think it was an episode. Yeah, it was a like some COVID episode that we did. I edited it, and of course we had no problem with like the 1080p or the 60 FPS. We had no problem with that. What we did have a problem was we put it at like high definition or like high quality because I mean, come on, people. Why am I not going to give you high quality? Why am I going to just stick you with low quality and then it puts out whatever the heck it wants to put out? And this isn't like, hey, it'll be done in 5 minutes. It'll be done in about half an hour. So the iPad is faster. Hands down faster. I like using it. It was a lot better. And then I went on, I think for the update, for the snow update, I did that through my iPad. And it dramatically changed. Like, they added new content and everything, and I was sitting there like, this is awesome. This is like what I dreamed of. Because, MacBook, or the MacBook version of iMovie was always like, this is awesome, but we don't use it. And, when you use it for a while, and then you switch back to the iPad, you're like, man, I miss this so much. And it's so awesome now. Now, there are things that I do, like, I miss. You can't select what format you want to put it in. So, like, let's say you don't want 1080p, you want 720p. You can't do that. It just saves at whatever it is. Which, it sucks, but to someone who would always go for the highest quality, that means absolutely nothing to me. But, still a little sad that it's gone. Now I'm just realizing that this might be a short episode. Oh no. Oh well. We're just stalling for the best part of the week. I'm not saying like of this. So man, I'm getting tired. I'm congested or phlegmy, whatever the heck it is, and I'm tired. Gotta love doing this podcast. So doing it on the iPad, it was definitely different this time around because it got updated I like Apple with their auto update stuff. My phone doesn't even auto update apps anymore. I think I was playing Pandora today, because I was doing something outside, and yeah, it was like there's a new update for this. And I was like dismissed because I thought it was like their pro, their because they always advertise the pro on their app. So yes, I listen to Pandora. I use Spotify for any like playlists and stuff, but I will definitely use Spotify a lot more on my computer because I like that version better than my phone. Because my phone, like, it's a lot more locked on the phone than the computer version is. So, like, let's say you want to go play. I did this the other day. Footsteps in the Dark. That's a song that I don't know why it's just been like a kick. I've had a kick on it. So, um, I can go to my computer, pull it up, and play it right there, no problem. Go to my phone, it puts you through a playlist of the song. Like, I'm sorry, but I want to hear the song and not the playlist. That is where they both differ, and that is why I don't like the phone version unless I already have set up. I already have playlist set up because then you know what you're gonna get. Um, oh man. So back to iMovie. Um, iMovie. It was definitely different. There were a lot more titles added, and I did really like that because going from the same titles all the time, it gets boring. So it'll be fun kind of seeing what new titles they have. Because I didn't explore all of them. I just kind of went through like, okay, oh, that's a nice one to use, um, and kind of just playing around with it a little bit more. Is probably something that we need to do, but yeah, I like the new update. Brings me right back to where I like it. Now, of course, iMovie isn't the only video editor out there, and honestly, we're we put no we don't put a lot of effort into this. I hate to say this, people, but it seems like we put a lot of effort into this. Which we make websites, we do all that, but we don't like HTML the thing or Python the thing. We don't code the websites. We just like, hey, look, this is our web. It's through Google. We put like we're not special. We're definitely not special in any way. Um, just something we're doing because of COVID. Because guess what? I'm bored. And yeah, I was social a couple weeks ago, but like you're not social for like months. So I think the last time before that was God, that was October before that. So, I'm getting better. I'm getting better. Um, because October was like the first time I was social since COVID started. So I'm getting better. And then hopefully Easter I'll be social again. So hey, I'm getting better. So iMovie wasn't the only one, and about a month ago I was thinking there has to be an alternative to this that makes us a little bit more professional. There is, and I'm not sure what I think about them. I've considered about it. I've considered it. I've thought about it. Well, I guess I'll tell you guys right now because I mean, hey, why not? Because we have a lot of time to fill, but yeah, I gotta do choir because everyone knows I don't like choir. That's why I'm dropping it next year. I actually didn't choose it next year, so thank God. Um, man. So there were two options that I was seeing, and the main thing I was trying to look for was like, okay, which one is free and which one can we get free through the school program? Um, of course, the school and they're managing stuff. They have the Adobe Creative Cloud, and so the first thing my mind went to was Adobe Premiere Pro because that's like what everyone uses because it's the best thing ever. I was like, okay, I feel good about this, and I look it up. It's like some like $40 a month, and I'm like, yeah, probably not. Probably not something that I really want to do, or something that I really want to pay for. So I'm like, is there a way? I was like, Bing. I use Bing a lot because of the reward stuff. I never got out of it, but like, hey, why not get out of the whole Google stuff? Bing has been a very, very interesting thing for me because you don't get a lot of the Wikipedia stuff. You don't, it's a very different experience. Um, and so, I was typing in, like, I was looking it up, like, okay, well, can you get a special discount because you're a student, because Autodesk, which I will get to in a little bit, Autodesk will, like, right now they will allow, so if you're a student and you have an ID, all you gotta do is send them a picture of your ID after, like, signing up for an account, saying that you are a student, you are at this high school, verifying that you are a student at, verifying your claims. And, if that gets verified, then you can get 1 year, a 1 year free subscription to Autodesk. Or not Autodesk, oh yeah, I guess it is Autodesk. I was thinking of AutoCAD, which is one of their products. And of course, what they do, they have some media and entertainment products. And I'll get to that in a little bit. So I was thinking, hey, maybe they have that program for Adobe. Man, was I wrong. They had a discount for students, and they're like, oh, well, if there's a discount through your school, they'll have it here, like at some website. And I went through that website and looked up the high school. Nope, not there. Ah, god dang it, I don't know how the graphic design people do it, because, like, they have it there. I don't know how you get an account or anything. I guess the school just says, hey, look, you have an account. I don't know. Maybe something that they do in the graphic design department, which I'm not sure if I should really go into, because honestly, I think people have seen my graphic design skills. Yeah, it's not the best, honestly. It's interesting. I will like tell you that it is interesting, but when I took graphic design last year, I didn't take it. I had to take it. You don't get any choice in the middle school. Now you do. Don't understand why. I guess because there were a lot of people complaining, and now they're like, well, I guess we have to do this. You had to take graphic design, and the major complaint that I was getting is you're not using different tools, you're not using different shapes. We used Adobe Illustrator. I love the pen tool because then you can manipulate whatever you wanted. You could make a circle, and you could use the pen tool. That was the main thing to me. And our teacher would always say, okay, you have to, and the first thing came around, we're like, wait, what the heck do you do? Because she never really told us. And she's like, oh, use the pen tool because you're going to be using that most of the time. But you also have to use the shapes too. Well, how do you do that? Like, how do you incorporate the shapes into, like, it was like a fish drawing that you have to basically trace over. How do you do that with shapes? I'm sorry, but I don't quite understand. And I never got it. I still don't get it. But that was like one of my major complaints. Oh, you have to use other shapes. I'm sorry. Honestly, I am. I love the tool. I mean, even on my graphic design stuff, I use that tool because, like, I'll use rectangles, I'll use circles, all that. But the pen tool, yeah. Yeah, the best thing out there. I still do some graphic design, like light graphic design work. I'll do it for the show, like really quick stuff. I did like a 2020 of the game project. It was pretty quick, nothing really special there. Basically like an NES cartridge, which like maybe somebody should make a 2020 of the game in the NES style, or some other like cartridge style, because people do that. Maybe I should dip my feet in game development. I'm not sure. But that's a lot less space on my computer then. So yeah, that Adobe was like, okay, this is what everyone uses, let's try it out. But there was the whole thing in the way of like, oh, you have to pay. So I was like, yeah, that's rolled out. That was kind of my second choice. Not the first one I went to. The first one I went to was Autodesk because, again, sorry, excuse me. Had like some like come up like hiccuping on it's weird when I do that because like it like stops everything. Like, whoa, it's like hiccuping almost, but you don't like make sound. I don't know what it is, but it happens. It's not like anything. I think it's just normal. It's not like anything like health wise. It's normal. I'm making a bigger deal out of it than I need to. Yeah, Autodesk. So I have this subscription to it because I took an design engineering design class. I'm interested in that. I like that. Thought it was pretty cool. And there was this, we used Autodesk Inventor, and there are a couple other classes that use Autodesk AutoCAD. It's like everyone calls the company AutoCAD because that's their lead uh program. They always use AutoCAD. And yeah, that's I was like, hey, that's cool. I can get it from my computer. Like they gave us school issued like Windows computers, and yeah, I was like, hey, I got my own like when I was thinking, oh, I'm gonna get my own Windows laptop from the school. Like I feel awesome because like the MacBooks were already high quality, but the Windows computers in my mind are higher quality. Um, so how can I put this in the best way possible? It was a Dell computer, and I like Dells. They make some pretty solid laptops, but this one was it was interesting. It was like made in the model was like from 2016 2013, but was styled like the early 2000s computers. This was the size of my laptop, which is an Inspirion, whatever you call it. It's 15 or 17. I think it's a 15. It was a like Maxis whatever. I had to turn it back in, so I don't have it anymore. But it was the size of my laptop times two. It was twice as thick as my laptop, and yeah, it was about comparable to it, but it was like like half my computer, and I'm like, I cannot work on this because it just wouldn't work. And had no camera, had two microphones though. Don't know how they sounded. Um, I actually did try one day to have Zoom up on it because you gotta Zoom from it. And this is a computer that can't really hold its own system. It can't hold Windows together hardly. Uh, that day I pull up Zoom. I was making it through. It was a little glitchy, and then all of a sudden it just stops. Just out of nowhere, stops. It's like okay, that's fun. That's fun. I mean, this is a computer that couldn't like you had to have it plugged in or it wouldn't work. Like it worked for about like 20 minutes and then like it died. So yeah, not the best computer. So I got it on my laptop, which it worked a lot better than the other one. So, but because I had that subscription, I was like, hey, let's just use the most of it because I'm gonna have it for another 3 years. If I verify it, which I probably will. I have a project that I'd like to work on this summer. Try to hopefully if COVID doesn't go. I know I sound bad for saying like, oh, I hope COVID doesn't go away, but it revolves around COVID. So the good thing is like in the end you can recycle it to some extent, which I don't understand how that's supposed to work. Like the stuff for it is biodegradable, which I feel good about. But like what I was seeing, because I'd like to have it recycled at the end, because like you put it back into the hole. It's supposed to be plastic, but once you have it recycled, you're gonna feel a lot better about it. And I was trying to look up one. It says like you can recycle it, but you have to give it to your recycling center. I was like, I don't even know where my recycling center is. On it, like I know where the incinerator is for the trash. I don't know if it's in the same building, but as the recycling is, but yeah, it's just not. I don't know. It's something I gotta like research and kind of start up later. But yeah, so I'm definitely gonna keep it. But the one program they had was called Autodesk Smoke. What I saw was like, oh, this is something for like, oh, visual effects. No, this is for visual or for video editing. I was like, wait, what? This is interesting. This is okay. But I was looking through it and I'm like, okay, this would be something that I'd be a little shaky on. I have to like test it out. They have a bunch of other media stuff, but it's more like 3D based. Like, oh, you're making this three-dimensional character and then it's basically like 3D animating from what I understood. But it just I don't know. Um, it was definitely interesting, and I was going through the uh because I didn't know what the specs of my MacBook were. It only runs on Mac, so I was like, okay, well, let's see what it says. Going through all the requirements, I'm like, okay, I think my laptop can take this, the MacBook can take this. And then I came back to it, a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, wait, wait. So the processor is not the right processor. The graphics I can't even find. Like stuff just did not line up for what they wanted. Like the minimum requirements, it just did not meet. So I was like, well, I guess we're not gonna, dip our feet into it, unfortunately. And I don't feel huge on Mac, so I don't really have like a hey look, I'm gonna get like a Mac Mini or one of the displays that they have, and awesomeness. No, I don't. I'd rather get like a Windows computer. They have like free Adobe stuff for the iPads, but if I'm going to use my iPad for editing, I'm going to use iMovie. And so essentially, I stayed with iMovie. We've always been told, use iMovie. iMovie's worked for years, so why go back now? Or why change now? Later down the road, I have I have a tons of plans. If I do decide to kind of dip my feet into Autodesk Smoke, if I can still find it, and they still have it, I will. But for right now, I just don't have any of the hardware to run it. And iMovie does, fine for it right now. Uh, yeah, that's that's iMovie. That's our decision with changing platforms. I do like iMovie. iMovie is pretty simple to use. I can see everything. Um, I like it. I've used it, and I've used it in a competition I was in before, and we got most creative. So unfortunately, I didn't get to use it as much. It was like the first time I ever used it, and I wasn't around for a lot of editing because I knew a lot more about it. I had the hey look, I'm gonna test this, see how it works. Like I might not know how this program works, but hey, I'll try it out and see. I was a fast learner. I just wasn't around for much of it. So one of my best friends who was in the competition with me didn't know until I was like, hey, we were on the meeting. Um, yeah, we just yeah. I was so he took over. He kind of did a lot more of it. Uh, but I like thanks, man. We got an award. I feel I have an award up on my wall. Because I was creative. So um, definitely have plans in the future. Hopefully. But of course I'm sticking with iMovie. And I'm not a professional, so I don't need anything else, and I don't make money, so yeah, I don't make anything else. But of course, I believe what I will talk about with that for episode 28, and that means it is almost time to end this. Maybe not. I gotta do choir. Um, I don't like doing. I'm gonna give you just a real quick scoop. Choir, I don't like. I don't like the director. I have to put up with the director. He probably likes me. I don't know. I'm a remote student. I don't know a lot. I mean, I had people over who, all three of them were in the, going to school in person. I was sitting there like, what are you talking about now? Because I don't understand. So, um, definitely something that I don't know. But I don't like the director. I wish him the best of luck because at the end of the year he's leaving. At first sight we were excited, but I wish him the best of luck. He plans on going and singing in a group, practicing in a group. Best of luck to him. Good luck, man. Um, you know, it's gonna be. At this point, I was like, can we just have like the old director come out of retirement? Because like I remember him we call him the legend. Like Mr. Zortman, the legend. Because like he was the best choir director the district ever had at the high school. And then he retired and it just hasn't been the same, so yeah. I dropped it for next year because I was like, I don't know who's gonna take that place. Cross my fingers it's the middle school director because she was better with everything. Always open about everything versus like our director now, like, oh, baritones, basses, you have to sing high, like the alto part. And I was like, wait, but why is this written that we have to sing the alto part and then the altos are singing like baritones? I don't understand. And sorry to the people who don't understand any of that. It's just, frustrating. But of course, we can always leave that for Blanket Talks. Make sure you keep up to date with that because it will be coming out. At this point, I have it set. I need to make a description for it. I have everything set in place for everything. And it's going to be, well, I don't know if it's going to be awesome, but if we can somehow like make this one of the best videos or best podcast episodes ever in total views, that would be very interesting for me to see because like we had 11 on Blanket Talks, 12 on Blanket Talks 2, so if we could have like 13 on Blanket Talks 3, that'd be awesome. So yeah, that's our episode today. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Whatever you want to say. Thank you for just doing whatever. With that, have a whatever. I don't know. I'm tired at this point. I have no will to do any schoolwork at this point and at this time of night, but unfortunately I have to. So yeah. With that, have a great whatever because I don't have the show this week, so I gotta say something. And we'll be back for hopefully one of the better episodes of March. Hopefully one of the best episodes of this podcast so far. Hopefully. I'm not gonna say fingers crossed because then that always jinxes it. I don't want it to be bad, honestly.